All right, we are live, we think. Let us know if you can see and hear us and how the chat looks. We've had some problems already backstage. So we just want to make sure you
You
guys
definitely have something going on, Bob.
really. And see, to me, it looks fine, but
No, it's you. I can hear you twice.
because I'm in there twice, remember?
Oh, yeah.
You guys might have to read the chat to me, even though it's written 3 times. You guys might have to read the chat to me, even though it's written 3 times. You guys might have to.
Yeah,
That's neat.
it's duplicating things, and
Sorry.
I had trouble with StreamYard and didn't worry about it till tonight. So I'm logged in under my backup account and my regular one. So you may hear us in there. So let's see who's here. There's Whip, first one here, I think, and Paul, and Joel, Uncle Smiley, Davo. Sorry, Davo, I was trying to go, but you know how it is with these two. Or maybe you don't. Land to Lake. What? Lake to land.
Well, this is not going to be listenable.
Susie's on her phone. She doesn't have internet, so I think that's everybody. Aquatic Moose.
It looked like 100 comments in there. What?
I know. Spaghetti Nona, Sarah. I just hadn't got through the first conversations. There's Lori, Monster Fish Gal. And are you, Lori, you said you couldn't read the comments. You see what I deal with every time, Susie, because I use my phone. That's everybody. If I missed anybody, let us know. Or forever hold your peace.
Oh, I'll forever hold my peace. Not.
I'm not sure you're going to hold people here with that's a serious echo.
Is it a true echo or is it both of me? Is it? I'm logged in twice, so I'm thinking.
I can hear me and then I can hear me again. Like.
Oh, okay.
Tommy, can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can try refreshing it.
Tommy.
I'll be right
Okay,
back.
well, I can deal with it. They're saying it sounds good to them, so
Don't do anything. Anyone else here? It sounds good to me too. Sounds okay here.
yep.
That reminds me something I said. Ed, one time when we were going somewhere on a trip, you know, because you usually talk about family or fish fam and stuff. And I was saying something. I said, I feel bad because Whip can never hear my videos. And I try to talk up, but I just speak so low and, you know, he can never hear them. And he said, well, you should know, or some, he said it in a real sweet way. He said, well, you know, he rides motorcycles and he hangs out with heavy metal bands, so he can't hear shit or something. So I felt a little better after that. But I felt bad because you couldn't ever hear, and you're like, can anybody else hear this video? No, because I don't talk loud enough. I can't do it. I've tried using mics, and that sucks for me too. Sounds good on my end. Hey, Jenny Lynn, are you still lurking, Jenny Lynn?
Lurking and working.
Dang, see, we could have had some pinto beans with some onion sliced stuff in them.
Oh,
Cornbread. Oh my God.
That's not going to work.
Maybe next time. Well, Susie, you were trying to talk on your stream about something, and I thought, well, what a perfect reason to continue the topic. You were talking about all the planning and stuff that was going to be going on with the season changing, and where people were going to do tubs and clean out their fish rooms and that kind of stuff, that you kept having issues and finally had to end early. So we'll continue that if y'all want to. Don't really have a topic or a guest.
yeah, that sounds good because there's so much to do. At least in my little world, getting ready for spring, not only has got the fish room clean out, got the ponds and all that. So I'd love to hear what everybody else has to do too. but my ponds are going to be top priority to try to figure out if I can make them with less, I don't want to say less maintenance because I don't mind doing the maintenance, but not filling up with leaves and seeds and every year. Like every year this is getting very tough. Whereas if I could just put like a see-through cover, I thought maybe to my mind, one of those pond nets over like a greenhouse like frame that's like 6 foot tall so I could still walk in my pond and out my pond. I thought that would be great. Like then the leaves will at least be minimized to 10%, if not none, right? And that's kind of like what I was thinking. I don't want to put a net over my pond like where I can't get to it, I can't grow plants, I can't get in there like what Zoe calls go fishing. Um, so I want it tall, like 6 foot tall or so, maybe a little more so John Baga can get in there too. And that would be like a cover. I almost want to build a greenhouse over my yard, the whole yard. Can I do that? I don't know if there's laws against that.
Well, that would solve the problem, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Hey, Todd, welcome
It
back.
would. And then in the fall, maybe add some plastic walls and it would keep it warmer.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. I just thought that would be a great idea. So I thought start small and start over the small terrapin pond where that pond's only 6 foot by 6 foot. Like, I think if I could do that, then I'd have more confidence doing it over my big pond, which is like, I think it's like 12 by 20 or something like that.
most said I've seen people put up nets for part of the year and then take it down. I remember when Rachel O'Leary put up that big greenhouse for all of
Oh
her.
my gosh, wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, but I was thinking about that, but a smaller scale. There's a lot of. I'm not sure about the quality. You'd have to check that, but there's a lot of smaller things now that are easy to put up and inexpensive compared to what all that used to be.
Right, right. And especially the bottom 3 to 5 inches, that can just be like, it doesn't have to be the plexiglass, right? The bottom 3 feet can be like just regular wall.
There's a question for Whip right there. How can I lower the pH without spending any money?
Lower the pH?
Put
I
peat
know how to
moss,
raise.
put peat
Yeah,
moss in stocking and put that in your filter. That'll lower it and kind of buffer it really nicely too.
yeah.
Sorry,
You want
my
to get
name's not Whip.
any kind of holy rock out of your tank. You want to get any of the crushed coral out of your tank if you're using that, because that's raising it.
Mhm.
What about wood?
I mean, you'd have to put an awful lot of wood in there to make a difference, a real difference. But hey, Melvin,
What is that wood that's so heavy? It's heavy as a brick, as a stone. Tanzanita, is that what it is? Tanzania or some kind? There's a real heavy wood that you don't even have to soak; it sinks. And that's the fastest I've ever had. I've still got some pieces somewhere, not in tanks.
manzanita, right?
Manzanita, yeah, Manza, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mopani, Uncle Smiley says,
oh, honey,
and Jenny.
that may be what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a lot used in reptiles a lot. It's very
Yeah,
heavy wood. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
I forget what fish I was breeding one year, but to lower it for 6 months, I did the peat moss in a stocking and put that on, and it just lowered it and kept it lower for months. Like I
Well,
didn't have to crush it.
if he doesn't want to use anything at all, I mean, there's nothing you can
Oh,
do. You get what you get.
yeah.
If you're not willing to,
I think he means anything like chemicals, maybe. Is that what did he mean that you don't want to use any unnatural chemicals or
He
anything?
mentioned he mentioned money, I think.
Ah,
no money.
money, money,
Yeah,
money, money.
The only way I know to alter it is check the pH of what comes out of the tap and check your pH in the tank, and you might be able to work with it there.
What about
I don't think
leaves?
an
Leaves
air
from your
hose wouldn't
garden.
lower it. Leaves might. Some like
Yeah.
you throw some oak leaves in there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would even go faster than wood, I'd say.
Hmm.
Yeah. We need Father Fish. I was stopped in over there a while ago before Susie went. I was looking for Skipper and I didn't see him. So I'm like, who's on here? And he said the nicest thing to me. You know, I never tell you the bad things that people say, just the good things.
That's all that matters.
Uh, he said, "Oh, Kaler's in here," and he said he has he has the distinction. I thought, "Oh hell." He has the distinction of being my oldest channel member over 5 years. I didn't know that.
Aw.
So, and then he talked a little bit about us, about the fish panel we do, and told us people to check it out later, and that it was a community channel and all that. So
That's very
Cool.
nice of them.
it was complimentary of us, not just me. Not just me. Any oak leaves? Yeah, oak leaves. Can I use an air hose? Not to lower it. The air's
Yeah,
not.
that would do nothing other than break up the
Give it
surface
air.
tension and give you a little air in there.
Huh.
That's all I would. If you don't want to spend $1, that's about the only thing I can think of.
Is there
And,
anything?
and
Go ahead.
I don't know if there's particular types of oaks that are bad either. Like, is red oak okay, but white oak is bad? You know, that kind of thing. I have no idea. I don't put that stuff in my tank, so I don't know the rules.
I put that
Yep.
stuff in my tank and I don't ask questions. I just rinse it. I don't even boil it. I rinse it, put it in. What it is.
I would try it first, like in a closed system there, Todd. Throw it into like a smaller tank or even a bucket or whatever, and just test your water, see what it does to it before you just do it. I'd hate to be
Especially
the
if you have
reason.
fish.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to kill off everything.
Does he say why he wants to lower it?
What is it? Why do you want to lower it? And what's in the tank? I want to know that too.
Yeah, because I'll tell you right now, I don't chase parameters at all. They live in what I have, and that's what they get. You know, I don't.
Well, I
The only
do
thing
to
that
an
might change
extent.
is over here.
I do to an extent. My tap comes out at 6.8. So some of my tanks I put crushed coral on the bottom. But I only do that when I'm setting up the tank. I don't do it for like another year or so. Sometimes I'll throw in a handful here and there, but
It's a shrimp. Okay.
oh, shrimp. Oh, definitely put wood and leaves in there.
Yeah, they'll eat that.
And even the substrate, yeah, the dirt or soil. I know not everybody likes to use that, but
Susie Q on it with the music and connections.
I have music.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what she meant by that.
Pretty
Old
cool.
skitty.
So I got,
What you
so I got
talking
music.
about, girl?
What you talking about, Willis?
Were you singing?
Oh, maybe. I blurt out songs all the time.
Oh,
I think it's a tick, actually. I can't control it.
it's a good tick though. Hey,
Eh,
yeah, at least you're not cussing us. Not yet.
that's true.
Now, if you couldn't carry a tune, you know, that'd be a whole
I
different
can't,
story.
but I
Oh,
don't
you're pretty
care.
good.
Just don't care anymore. I did. I used to care when I was younger. I don't
Mm,
care anymore. I sing if I want to sing. I dance if I want to dance. And I roller skate if I want to roller skate. These kids were
Even
making fun of me, like, look at that old lady roller skating. Yay.
even with the broken wrist, you skate.
I still skate. Yep. I do. I do.
Hopefully, Father Fish would probably have more information about that.
Yeah, I would definitely go see him. Him and his
He would
natural.
tell you to cap it with some sand, probably.
Yeah.
Not cap it. 2 inches.
Well,
He told a couple
it's
people that
an inch of dirt and 2 inches of sand, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he was
Hey,
having
Larry D.
people come up and showing their, hey Larry, show their tanks and then ask their question. And two of them, I was there for two questions and two tours. Well, he did a nice tour also, and his co-host. But he told both of them to put some sand on, throw some sand in there.
He gave me a great piece of advice because one time I had some dirt that was coming through the sand to the top, and he said that I had used more sand, dirt to sand ratio than the other way around, and to use a funnel and put that sand in through the funnel so the sand isn't covering up all my plants, but I could literally lay down. And he said, do it gradually, just do a quarter inch until you get another inch down there. And it
Yeah,
worked out great. And now my tank is clear as can be.
yeah,
The problem with only sand, Todd, is it's inert. So there's zero
Does nothing.
nutrients in it. Yeah. So the reason you want to put an inch of soil at the bottom is so that if you're planting it, I don't know if you've got plants in there or not, but if you do, you're either going to have to put the root tabs in there like crazy, or if you got Nubius or something, then you're going to have to be dosing the water.
Yeah,
yeah,
he sells an organic compound, but he also lists the ingredients that are in it right on his site. So you can just get those ingredients if you had. Sometimes I had that stuff lying around because I have a lot of garden stuff. It was like the diatomaceous earth, the peat moss, the sphagnum. Like I had a lot of that stuff that he had on the ingredients, and I just put my own together, and it was amazing. But if you don't have those things on hand, he sells it by little bags. Because you just mix that with your soil. You don't need to use an inch of his stuff. You just a small amount with the rest soil, because that's what's going to leach out nutrients over the next year or so. It doesn't dissipate like quickly, if that makes sense.
yeah. Kind
Hey,
of
Dave,
cool. Oh, can you use volcanic rock? Is that what that says?
I mean, you can put
Lava.
it in your tank, sure, but that's inert too. That's not going to do you any
Yeah.
good.
But that's great for beneficial bacteria.
Yeah, it'll house a ton of beneficial bacteria.
And there's other lava rock that's not lava, like it's but volcanic compounds that are very good for your fish tank. The white one, I don't have the names in front of me, but there's a couple of them that they use to clear up your tank like that. You just can't overdo it. I can't think of the name of them though, but they're all different substances from a volcano. But they're also used in gardening as well.
Um, one of the ladies that, well, she's actually a childhood friend of Pam's, Pam Punchy Panks, but she was contacting me earlier today. So we talk rarely, but, just on in comments and stuff. But she's getting an axolotl. Well, she's trying to decide whether to get an axolotl, a frog, or shrimp. And I said, well, I've had shrimp, and, you really got to, you water and all that. And then I've had not had frogs, not aquatic frogs, or in the water frogs, but I've had axolotls, and I told her I had good luck with them, except when they would spawn, the story, they would die. So I answered some questions for her and sent her a couple of my videos about them, and I think she's going to settle on the axolotls.
That's
But
a good choice.
it was it was fun to go back, and kind of help a little bit, show somebody else what the mistakes and what worked and what didn't. And
Yeah.
so I hope
I
she.
think one of the biggest mistakes I made with my axolotls is not I put those snails in the tank thinking
Mhm.
they would help, and one of them, because it was so small, got caught in his throat
Yep.
and started choking, and his insides, it looked like his privates and everything were splitting apart, but he was actually choking. And I was up all night trying to fix this issue, and by the time I like literally was doing this, because he was going to die anyway, so I was doing this to my axolotl, and out came the snail piece. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. So I got rid of all, because I knew to use large gravel that they can't fit in their mouth, but I didn't think twice about the snails, and it got lodged in his throat. Almost lost him.
the first piece of advice, the first sentence I sent her was the temperature is the most important thing, and don't put any choke things in, no snails. It's the first sentence I sent her.
Even if you put mystery snails in and they have babies, then they're going to be too small and it's going to be that choking. Like
Yeah.
they don't really crush their snails, you know. That's not like a
Todd,
buffer.
Todd, any good soil will work, but some people, and speaking of, we were just talking about Pam, she does it under her sand. She puts clay, unsanded, nothing in it, just plain clay, cheap cat litter like from Walmart, and
Hmm.
puts it on the bottom and caps it, and it works great because it's clay. So don't the what you're trying to get out of the soil up front doesn't really matter so much starting out like
Right.
that.
And
'Cause
then clay can actually work really well as a plenum because it's thick enough that slows the water down enough and act like the fourth stage of your nitrogen cycle. That's a good idea.
well, and it's cheap, and we like cheap.
We love cheap.
You can also get tumbled water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent I don't even know, probably $100 on 2 bags of soil over there. I'd have to go look. You know, the fluval stratum. I
Yep.
think
Oh
it's like
my.
$50 a bag.
Yep.
That's insane. Why? I thought you had tanks that don't need plants or like what are you making?
Like this bag right here. I haven't even opened it yet. Um,
What kind of tank are you building?
I just wanted one
Uh,
freaking tank where I can grow plants, but I can't seem to get it. So I might try it again in my 120. I've got a big old sword in there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's most it's mostly hair algae on the top, but
All
it's
right.
throwing
That's
off
all right.
it's throwing off little guys and everything right now. So
So what about bulbitis? They like hard water like you have.
mhm.
I think Steven sent me some and it died almost immediately. Almost
Oh
everything
no.
dies here. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna try this when I switch everything over, because that tank switch over to a 90 instead of a 75.
Right.
And all the South Americans are going to go into the other tank here because it's just a
Now
bunch of little guys.
now bulbitis, I believe, is also a rhizome, so you don't have to put it in the dirt.
Hey, Paul.
If you put it in the dirt, it could die. But if you just wrap it around a rock and set it on the dirt, then the root parts that's actually roots, not rhizomes, will find its way to the dirt while the rhizome stays above the dirt.
Right. Todd, any kind of shrimp in my fish room would get annihilated. They would live for about 15 seconds if they were lucky, if they're good at avoiding the carnivores.
I hope my phone doesn't die. Just random thought.
We've been going about almost 30 minutes.
Plug it in.
I don't have a plug here. I don't even have an
No.
outlet here. I have nothing. I'm just sitting in a room with a fake light, and there's no plug, there's no outlet, there's no charger, nothing.
Whip has scary water. I do.
He got that Chicago water.
It's
Did you ever
probably
go to that pond store?
What?
Did you ever go to the pond store, the Aquascape?
Oh yeah, lots and lots of times.
Because they have the same water you have. They must have some good ideas for planted tanks, no?
No, they are 60, 70 miles away from me.
Oh, okay.
So they're I don't know if they're probably on the city or
Okay.
I'm on well,
Oh.
because I'm out in the country.
Oh.
I'm way out here in the country.
Oh, I gotcha.
that was one of the things she asked me about the axolotls. She finally focused in on water, and she says they have they use well water, but they have a filter system for anything that comes in the house, and then they have an RO system. And I said I would just use the filtered well water. Would be my best advice.
I agree.
Hey, Alec, we've watched Fish Tank Barn.
I watch him all the time, except for now I can't because I'm streaming at the same time as he streams. But I catch his replay
I
the
like
next
Mike.
morning. Mike's a good dude.
Yeah,
We
he
sat
is.
up one of the Aquashellas, John Hudson and myself and who was Ed's partner there for a while? Uh,
Jason?
James. James. Remember James?
Yeah.
Fish
Whatever.
Room.
Yeah, Fish Room Fever. Thank you. Jeez. We just kind of sat up and shot the bull for a couple hours till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I said I got to go home.
Yeah, whatever your well water's coming through, you're going to have that. So copper or whatever. So that's why you would want to filter out any heavy elements or stuff. But you don't need RO water for sure for axolotls.
Not for axolotls, but for shrimp that he's doing, he might. I mean, if you listen to Flip Aquatics, Rob, he recommends that you use straight up
I know. And then
RO.
Really?
and then there's the guy that I can't remember him. I bought fish fry shrimp a couple times. They always die. My fault. But who's the guy we have on? I need to have him on again.
Yes, I got shrimp from him too.
Yeah, and he just uses I think
Yeah.
tap water. But I don't know what his water's like. What he's
Yeah, it
at.
might be really good coming out of the ground or out of the city tap.
And Grant from Garden of Eater is coming to my fish club to speak. I'm excited.
I saw that.
I'm very excited.
Where have you? Are you just now getting here, Huawei?
He was here really early, and then I hadn't seen him until now.
He checked in and then skipped like in school. That's why you're bagging groceries right now, boy. At 70. That's why you're bagging them groceries. I'll be 70 this year. I can't believe it. Jesus.
Wow.
I know. I'd like to stop working at some point and get a few years of going around in pulling a camper, just a small, good used camper behind me and get down to 2 or 3 animals. But
You were at the store before the stream too, there, Wayway. You could been going to the store a lot.
he must have
Says,
got his groceries or
just
something.
just got home and missed Susie. That was at 6:36, and now he's just getting home from the store. That's you're a busy man, my friend.
I didn't. What store? The California store? That's probably where he was at. California. No judgment, but hey, Sam. I'm using safety sorb. Oh, really? How do you like that in one tank? You need to rinse really well and mix some Tropica or charge it with liquid fertilizer.
Oh, cool. What is liquid fertilizer? Oh, like Co-op has it, and I know what you mean.
Yeah. That was the best luck I ever had with plants. Stem plants was in a rainbow tank, a 40 breeder, using half the dose of no tabs, just half the dose of Aquarium Co-op's green stuff, that whatever that was, and had the best plants ever.
I think the 40 breeder is the best footprint for plants because it's so shallow. Any light will do amazing. It'll
Yeah.
get right down to the bottom. That's a great footprint for
Yeah.
a planted aquarium.
If you don't want to spend $500 for a Kessel light or something,
No,
you're right.
no.
That's the other issue I have. Like my short tanks over here are 25 inches tall,
Right.
and my big tanks are 30 inches tall.
Well,
I
you
don't
can
actually
build a
know
little
what
platform. You can build a platform inside your tank so your
to raise them up a
plants.
little.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. And you can still have the fish that swim underneath. It doesn't have to be a solid. It could be like a Put in a
Mhm.
table, plant
Yeah.
table.
Y'all follow Big Steve? I'm sure you do. He's got
Yes.
some really cool videos about that made me think of his like his tunnels or subterranean levels that he's got, and not all the fish that you would think would want to go in there, like catfish and plecos and stuff, but a lot of fish like.
Howdy, Jeffro.
Hey
Hey,
Jeff,
Jeffro.
welcome in, Jeff. Good to see you. Hadn't seen you in a minute. I think I saw you at Dan's not too long ago. Um, Jenny Lynn. I was trying to remember what I was thinking about. Jenny Lynn does that, like you were talking about doing the different levels, Susie, with her fish and with her snakes and some things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. And so it really, makes a lot more floor space for fish and for the reptiles. Yep.
Yeah, I
She's
like that
really,
idea.
yep. I still haven't done my little. Finally, we got over to reptiles. Huh? Didn't take too long. Half the string. I got the little hognose snake is off its feed. It's been off for 2.5 weeks now.
Why?
I don't know. I double check every day. I make sure because I don't. He wasn't expensive, but I want him to be fine, and he's a year old. So anything that happens would be me. But
He
yeah.
was eating well, right?
He was eating every week. That's what they told me. He was eating every week. The only thing I did different was gave him a little bit bigger. I gave him a fuzzy.
Oh,
It's not much bigger, and he did have a little trouble getting it down. But I just gave him a couple extra days, but then he never would eat. He'll go over and look at the things if I leave him in there. Today he's shown more interest, but of course he gets more active as it gets later in the day. But
yeah.
I'm gonna
And
try.
you went a lot smaller this time, like to see
Yes,
maybe he's got a shock of he remembers what it was like.
yeah. Yeah, because he was eating fine. And that guy's on the up and up. I've gotten several snakes from him, several things from him over the years. And so, but humidity, everything's fine. But I was saying that because I still haven't made his 20 long, with the tunnels and all of that stuff underneath. That's what I was going to do for him. So
Ah.
I don't want to disturb him now.
Well, since we passed the halfway mark and I heard you talk about reptiles, let me tell you, my blue tongue skink woke up today for the first time in 2.5 months, and I was so happy.
Awesome.
I was so afraid, and I did everything inside me not to go in and pull everything apart and check on him. I just waited patiently, and he came out, and he was hungry. I was, woohoo!
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was so worried. Ever since years, I get so nervous now. Like, please come out. Please come out.
I know that was the weirdest thing. I guess the second or third year he brumated, he never woke up and then he started stinking. I'm like,
He's not waking up.
nope. And he was he was a pet. He would sit right
Yeah.
here like the dogs and stuff.
Yep.
Broke my heart.
He ate right out of your hand. None of my blue tongue skinks would I trust to eat out of my fingers. Oh, hell no. Oh, my God, no. They like, they grab it, they whip it around like a Rottweiler or whatever. Like, I guess Rottweilers don't do that, do they?
I don't know.
If they're playing, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. If they're playing, they will, yeah.
If it's a Chihuahua they're playing with, they sling them around
Yeah.
pretty good.
Oh my God, did you guys see the picture today of my dog sleeping on the bed?
Yeah, I
Yep.
saw that.
I got caught. John Bagel walks in the house,
Did he?
and I said, "Go ahead, babe, play alpha and kick him off the bed. Go ahead." He did.
Whip is always the baby.
I am definitely the
Aw.
baby.
He's
I'm
the
the
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Aw.
We started calling him Lil Whip, and then people weren't sure who it was, so we had to go.
I don't know. I don't know if I like that nickname.
Little whip.
Lil Whip.
Little whip.
Lil Abner.
Yeah, it doesn't match.
It had in Chattanooga. There's an event that has Fish Mania. I think the event's on May 14th. Yeah, I see that stuff come up on Facebook. For the area, and I'm always put interested or going. But the one that if it's the one they have every spring, that's a real good one, and they have it over there in East Ridge, just right down the road from them, actually. And it's not a huge place, but it's big enough that you can have a lot of stuff in there. I remember we were talking about Ed a while ago and James, that I met up with them once over there, or they were going, and I ran into them there, and they both did a presentation in there. So it's a nice venue there.
Nice.
There's another store. I was thinking about you the other day, Todd. We were talking about last week in here, and I remembered there's another besides Fishmania and the Aquatic Den. Um, oh, and then Rob's Place, which is Aquatic Aesthetics. But there's also, what's the other one in East Brainerd there? I stopped at that the other day. I had to have an MRI, and I had time to kill before the MRI, and I went in. And it's an awesome store. They moved to a new location, but what is the name of that? We never mention it on here. You may know. Think your dad can bring you? Don't know. Yeah, take and leave if you're old enough. Leave you there if to stay there. There are always a lot of kids there and families and stuff. So it's family kiddo friend. Whippito. I don't know about that.
Whippetoo?
Whippito. That
Whippetoo.
sounds like a bird almost. You're 13. Uh-oh. Watch your mouth whip. Watch your mouth whip.
That's why.
I had no idea. I didn't know. Well, you're pretty smart.
Hey, I'm not the one that's always dropping the F-bombs. That's this one down here.
See there. They won't watch their mouths out of respect for their elder, for me. So maybe they will for the teenagers. I started.
Lumpy dog's here. Yep.
Lumpy dog.
Lumpy dog. Lumpy
Oh,
dog.
he's the one that asked the question.
Your Honor, I assumed he was 18. Right. That's what they all say. What they all say. I didn't see it said 13. Well, we're not going to be doing
Oh, I
anything.
can tell you stories. I met a young lady that I picked up in a bar. She was not 21.
And you were?
Oh, I was 22, and she was not even 18. Looked like she was plenty old enough to me, but who knew?
Wow.
I can't be going to court. I don't have time for all that.
that was 40 years ago. I haven't been 22 in a long time.
Oh, word. Wow. Yeah, there's some 7-year-olds that know all the words.
My granddaughter does. I don't know where she got it from, but she knows them all.
We knew them all from our mother, and we would say them to each other when she wasn't around. We never got caught, but ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, the old ones that you can't even say, even when you want to be nasty now, you get in trouble. Anyway,
Which ones are those, Bob?
the ones that start with F or Q or C.
Q.
Q.
Now I gotta think, man. What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know that one.
Q.
Well, my mother couldn't say it because it was so nasty. But one time my car broke down. I was 16, and it was an electrical issue. My first car. And she and my stepfather were taking me over to the bypass, where it was at, to see if they could get it started. They had jumper cables and stuff like that. And my cousin that was older was in the back seat with me. And he was gay. Sometimes, especially late night, I would talk about he's gay, and some of the things he would come up with. Always real familiar with some of the stories from Pam's stream. But anyway, she didn't want to say the word, so she said, I looked at him and I said, I forgot the keys. And we were almost over there, and with my mother, oh my God. And I said, Mama, I forgot the key. And she said, and she called her daddy Grandpa. She said, Grandpa had a word for people like you. He called them quar. So that's the Q word. Uh-oh, did we freeze?
No. Oh, Susie did.
I started to say I shocked Susie so bad she left. I told you. Can't say that Q word. But no,
Yeah.
queer. But queer. I guess it's supposed to be a nasty word. But she said queer.
Oh.
She cleaned it up and said queer. Grandpa had a name. And I thought, well, how does that relate? Because I knew what that meant, but I'm like, how does that relate to forgetting the keys? She was just trying to be nasty. Robert Kaler. Oh, don't put that up there. Don't put that up there.
Yeah. Take that down there, buddy. There you go.
What? Hey, y'all, my mother turns 98. Joel, wow. Is she, does she still live at home and stuff? How's her health? I wouldn't mind living to be that old, but, it depends on the condition, I don't think it's
Yeah,
going to.
right. If
But,
I'm 98 and drooling on myself and stuck in a home where I'm in a wheelchair that they've pushed out in the middle of a room just staring at the floor, forget it.
right, and nobody comes to see you and stuff, and, that sucks. Golly, Miss Crabtree. Uh, for a greenhouse type, maybe Susie's trying, or her phone died. Structure, you need to make it sturdy and tied down, yeah, so wind doesn't knock it over. Friends in LA put up one that wind got it and messed up plants. I see some of that stuff on, because I went on there. What's that real cheap Chinese? I mean, they're China based, but I think they have.
Timu or something?
Yeah, that one. I went on there and bought just some little piddly things that I needed, like weather stripping to put on the bottom of the door at the Ark, and 99
Hey,
cents for 2 rolls and stuff like
hey,
that.
Gregor.
Everything I got, I spent like $7, and all the things I got, like 5 items, they worked and they were fine. So they have some of those little greenhouse kind of things, and they're cheap. So I don't know if they would work or not. I'm looking to see if Susie's back there, and she's not. I bet her phone died on her.
How you doing, Craig? Good to see you.
You're her caregiver, but her mental health is good. That's more than I can say. Not being funny. I mean, ooh, I've had hell the last 2 weeks. I think I
Oh,
told
really?
last, yeah, not taking the little carton of egg beaters out and pouring it in my coffee for cream, and just stuff like that. I'm just not paying attention to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to just like slow down and watch what you're doing. Hey, Craig.
You know what's been driving me crazy lately is I drop everything. What is up with that?
I hate people that say I do. Oh, I do that the same thing. I've been dropping stuff like for 2 years. If I showed you my floors, and I just go around with my reacher, my grabber, and pick things up like once or twice a week, because I'd be bending over all the time.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's crazy. Love the PetSmart in Hicks, and it's so kept up. I hadn't been to that one in forever out there. Right, about the egg white. You remember that, Davo? Well, it was aggravating, and I almost did it a second time. I'm like, holy hell. Oh, and the thing I did, like a sequel to that, if you have something pertinent to say, just shut me up. But the sequel to that, here's my new little boy. I've decided to adopt this little dog. He's too old to go to another home. I've got him all tuned up now. Got his teeth all healed up. Yeah. But
Yep, he
anyway,
was on the stream last week, right?
yeah, but he didn't look
I
this good. He's had a nice bath and had his dry skin worked on and his stitches all out, and he's a good boy. He's supposed to be 10, but I think he's closer to 15. Anyway, I knew I was out of coffee, and I was out, and I had dogs coming back Friday from an adoption event, and so I thought, where can I just run in and get some coffee? just a little bit of coffee and to make coffee, the next couple of times till I can get out. And so I stopped at one of the little service stations and went in and get it. And the guy was Indian. It was one of those English accents that was so thick it was hard for me to understand him. He didn't have any trouble understanding me. And finally, and I kept telling him I want unbrewed, and with my accent, he finally understood it. I think I said not made yet or something. And so he showed me where it was at, and it was one of the better brands, and it was just a little small thing. Wasn't
Right.
saying, but I'm like, that's not instant, is it? And he said, no, it's not instant. And I said, how much is it? And he had two of them. And he said, well, it's cheaper to get two. Well, I got the two, and it was $14. So it wasn't cheaper because you can get a big coffee thing. I've got a big one now for $12. But, and I made it, and I thought, well, that tastes really good. And so I went back to make later on to make another cup, and there were no grounds in there. And I thought, what the heck? I must have emptied that. Well, it was instant, long story short. So it was dissolving the coffee every time I would make coffee with it. Jesus. I'm going to poison myself at some point, I guess. I mean, it was pretty good. It was just like pouring, boiling water on it. I just made it through the coffee maker.
Right. So is that a mini pin or is that a Chihuahua?
It's both. It's
It's a mix.
he's a lot smaller than he looks. Getting back here closer to me, it's a CHIPIN. I don't know how they pronounce that, but he's a little boy. Hey, hey, he knows a big secret, and that's to act like you can't hear when you don't want to acknowledge, but he hears just fine. He hears just fine. His name, he didn't have a name because he was a little stray. And the rescue he went to initially, the big dogs were whipping up on him, so I went and got him. And they were just calling him Jack, so I made it Jackson. Made him a good Southern name.
Todd, I wouldn't put anything in a 5-gallon. That's I'd put maybe a snail in there. That's about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything saltwater, but there are little saltwater things that you could have. Not really a coral, but like some of those little trash starfish. What are those called? There's a name for them. I never could remember it.
I am not good at. I don't keep saltwater, but I know a 5-gallon will be a son of a gun to maintain.
Bob,
Yeah, it's like that's what Lumpy just said. Man, Lumpy and I said that almost at the same time. I saw it pop as I was saying.
I kept a guppy and a 5-gallon. Well, Todd, that the smaller the tank in generally speaking, the harder it is to keep it balanced and to control, and you'll get bigger shifts. When something happens in a 5-gallon, it's going to happen a lot faster than a 180-gallon. So that's the trick with them. But
Yep.
There are things you can keep in there like a guppy, but saltwater is a little bit different. It is. I kept it like 5 or 6 years, and I just gave up my last tank a few months ago. My last fish died in there, but it was fun. But it is a little harder. It's in your 30-gallon now. Well, obviously it did okay then.
Leave it there.
Oh, saltwater hermit crabs in there. There you go. There you go. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's what Lumpy Dog was saying. I should have just read the comments, shouldn't I? Sorry. Can y'all tell me if I have any nasal polyps or anything? Save me from going ear, nose, and throat doctor. Save me a copay. Beta in a 5-gallon.
Yeah, you can do a beta, but that's not a saltwater. He said saltwater, so
Right. I can't really think of anything.
there's invertebrates and that kind of crap. That's about it that I know. No fish wants to live in a glass box this big.
Something else you might think about, Todd, is kind of like a bridge to that. However, it is if you don't really keep up with your salinity, but that's a brackish water. It can be a lot more forgiving than salt. So, but there are things that can go like mollies. I mean, there are saltwater mollies, but mollies do good. If you had some little ones, like some fry to raise up or something, but brackish water, I used to keep a couple of brackish tanks. But it's different water. You have to mix it differently and all that. Hard to hold back on the crab jokes with a kid around, right? Right. He probably knows them, but you red claw crab. I had a couple of those, and I had them in with my what you call them, my mud skippers, and they did fine. They only live like a year. I think I had 3 of them. I don't know what they'd normally live. Brackish tank. Yeah, I had mine with my mud skippers. They were pretty cool. Pretty cool, and they didn't bother each other. I'm glad I don't have all those tanks I used to have. You know what, Whip? That was, I don't know how I did that. Jesus. Jeez.
I don't either. All you guys that had or have, you know, 50, 60, 80. Yeah, I'm like, geez, I struggle with the 12 I have.
Well, I probably wasn't taking as, it was like an assembly line, the water changes and stuff, but it was too much. I decided I'd rather have snakes and puppies. I still have 18 with water in them. I know that's a lot. Todd, I love watching the little crabs shot for shells in mine. I had that big saltwater crab. Can't remember what it's called. It was a big one when I bought it. Somebody had brought it back to Ethan's store, actually, Fish Mania, and it lived over a year, but I was always had trouble finding big enough shells for it. Like Jess Shrimp Granny sent me some, and just couldn't find shells big enough for it, but it was fun to watch. They have little tiny bodies, those great big claws, but just a little bitty body. Just enough to stick their hiney in there and hang on.
I was bringing shells home from Florida to upgrade. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. Because I did have my 40 breeder was a saltwater for a minute, but my clown fish jumped out the back, and I'm like, now there's nothing in there but weird. They sold me like the starter kit that had crabs and like they were kind of like starfish, but I don't think they were starfish. They were just some kind of weird looking creepy crawly with water around. And
Those might be those little, there's a name for them. It's not echinacea. I know that's a plant, but it's something like that sounds like that. James would always, Fisher and Fever would always remind me because he knows what it was.
yeah, they reminded me like a cross between an octopus and a starfish, but it only had like 4 or 5 legs.
Yeah. Were they white and real little, like a nickel or a dime?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are
And
like,
they go up to the top and then they cruise around a little bit.
yeah.
Not
Those
an urchin. Urchin are the ones with the spikes, right? This was an actual flexible little creature thing.
I had an urchin and it died. I waited in line a long time to get it over in Knoxville. And it died. Who said they had some? Lumpy Dog said he's got some 5.5 gallons that he's seasoning right now. What do you mean you're seasoning them, letting them mature as far as the biofilm?
Yeah, just to build up the biofilm and stuff so that the neocaridina can have something to eat when they get there. I'm guessing.
I don't see Susie trying to come back. Well, I wouldn't see
No,
her.
her phone probably died. She had mentioned she hopes it doesn't, but
Hey, you know what? Kenny Daniken was in Susie's stream earlier, and he said that he was going to stream tonight their usual time. And I think she had already lost the stream, but I posted the link in her stream. for that. So he's got it set up already. So there you go, Lori. Was that
Lori's got it.
up there before I started saying it, or do we just think at the same time? Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, I think she might have even beat you to the thought.
Mhm. I just remembered that. So, all right.
That's how good she is. She knows what you're gonna think.
It's like Candy used to be before you'd even
Yeah.
get the thought through your head. There would
She'd
be.
give Candy a run for her money.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sam can too. That's for sure. Kenny is streaming again tonight. He is. That's all he said was he was going at the usual 9 o'clock time.
I don't know. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it might just be a one-off. I don't. He didn't say
Mm-mm.
that they're going to go streaming every week again. It was
That's
just. It might be
that's
just
about
tonight.
that's about the time that her stream hung up again. So he might have said more, but we didn't see it if he did.
Oh
So.
yeah, yeah.
Whip, do you mind closing us out, saying the good nights and the wherewiths and the wherethoughs, and
Sure. What do you got going on? You got anything going on? You got the reptiles on Friday
hoping to get the
coming
reptile
up?
going again? We've not been able to have a lot of people there, or the regular crew's not been able to be there. So I've just been rambling, and sitting like I usually
Oh,
do.
okay.
But yeah, Friday night for that maybe.
And then that's it. Other than this,
Mm-hmm.
and,
That's it.
and I've got my my Thursday with Ed, and if Skip doesn't stream, I usually go in his place just to keep that show going,
Yeah.
and then I stream on my own on Saturday at 2 Central. Other than that, you guys have yourself a great night. Make sure you make it over to Kenny E and give him some love. And we'll talk to you all in a week or so.
Yep. Thank you, Whip. What time is the thing with Ed on Thursday? Sorry.
What time's what?
With Ed on Thursday. What time is that?
Ed is on at 7 your time, Eastern, 8 my time.
Alec, it was a 40 breeder. Was there's another question? Oh, Todd says, how many times a week should I feed my fish? That it's a lot better to underfeed. So I would do like 3 times a week starting out and feed them like half of what you think they might need, and then go from there. Overfeeding is a huge problem. So, all right.
Unless
Thank
you have
you.
fry, then it's every day.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Monch. Thank you, Whip. Thank you, Susie, wherever you are.
Yeah. Bye, Susie.
Good night.